Call a meeting to order at 6:33. And roll call, Dillon here, Conrady,
Here.
Harsar, here, Cernay, here, McCann, Galliano.
Here. Okay, I'm here.
Oh,
Saladin.
Saladin.
Here.
Sorry, you weren't on this. All right, all the board has had a chance to review the minutes from April 5th and the minutes from the public hearing. Are there any corrections to be made?
No.
Motion to accept those from someone?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Second.
That'll be for the regular meeting.
April 5th regular meeting?
Yeah.
At the roll call, Dillon, yes. Conrady?
Yes.
Harsar?
Yes.
Cernay?
Yes.
Saladin?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the public hearing from April 5th, 2022.
Second. Roll call, Dillon, yes. Conrady?
Yes.
Harsar?
Yes.
Cernay?
Yes.
Saladin?
Yes.
Both of those are accepted. Present also Neil Lynch and
Abraham.
Georgianne. I saw walk in somewhere. Anthony Abraham. Mark is not here. Correspondence, I have one, but it pertains to the first public, or the zone, site review that we'll do for Sandstone. Are they present?
Yes.
Okay, you want to come up? This is a continuation of the site review from the last meeting. I've received 2 communications since that meeting, and I'll read those. As agreed, the Amherst Township Board of Trustees on April 26, 2022, executive session contacted Lorraine County Prosecutor's Office for guidance on addressing the correspondence the trustees received on April 25th from Bruce Rinker, legal counsel for John Evanson, and Tom Oster of the Amherst Consolidated Properties. Zoning Inspector Remy Cerrone and I met in person with Assistant County Prosecutor Tom Mangan. Former Assistant Lorraine County Prosecutor Jerry Ennis participated in the meeting by way of telephone conversation as Jerry led the Amherst Township through much of the negotiations and settlement for the Lorraine County Common Pleas Court case number 20 CV 200199. If you recall, Mr. Rinker's letter stated the question is whether the zoning commission, pursuant to its authority to review and make recommendations concerning final development plans, may seek to impose zoning requirements that are contrary to the terms of intent of the agreement. Specifically, can the zoning commission require your compliance with the 50-foot setback between ponds on the property, lot lines, property rights of way pursuant to Article 2700 of zoning, Township zoning resolution in lieu of the PPD or PDD plan submitted to the currently under review Lorraine County Soils and Water. Mr. Rinker's letter included his opinion of his client's question. The prosecutor's office did not agree with all of Rinker's opinions and arguments, regardless of the validity or lack thereof of Mr. Rinker's agreements. The agreements are immaterial as it is determined that Sandstone Development, PDD, stormwater management retention basins are not ponds and thus do not need to meet the Amherst Township zoning resolution, Article 2700, pond requirement. And I also received communication from Tom Mangan from the Lorraine County Prosecutor's Office, which says that by recent request, Amherst Township officials seek an opinion from the Lorraine County Prosecutor's Office pertaining to the above stated subject, which was addressed by the Amherst Township Zoning Commission 4/5/22 meeting, and it's 4/12/22 minutes. A development retention basin is not the same item as a recreational fire protection pond for the purpose of zoning, township zoning. Township zoning resolution, Article 200 defines the term pond. It does not define the term retention basin. Further resolution in Article 2700 lists the zoning requirements for a pond. It does not list zoning requirements for a retention basin. The resolution simply does not address retention basins. Thus, it is the opinion of this office, and you are so advised, that the township resolution or retention basin does not have to meet the zoning requirements of the township pond. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, Attorney Mangan. Any questions with either of those? Okay. I think that answers a big question that we needed to address to continue this tonight. Were there any other questions that we needed to address before we go forward with this site review?
I think the only other item was updating the drawings for the existing tile that was exposed. Is that updated on the drawings?
We're comfortable, let me back up a minute. Because our property's being developed and we have farm fields on our property, we're gonna address all the tile that's contained within our property. Any tile that's going to we're assuming though, everything going to the north is gonna continue to go to the north. So I'm not sure how, we can add that note to the plans, no problem. I think conceptually, it's all our tile that's gonna be damaged during the process.
Okay. I was just saying that because I know the one property, the house there, that's part of that original property. So there are tiles that go that direction. So they were exposed with previous excavations for that waterway you put in.
Okay, yeah, I mean, absolutely, I think Chris already agreed to put the note on the plans.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me.
Were there any other questions or concerns before we go forward? Mr. Strong, you have anything to add?
Everything,
Have you talked to Mr. Lesner about this?
yes.
Is he on board, or can you? Oh, I didn't see you back there, I'm sorry. I didn't see him sitting
You talked
back
to him
there,
directly?
right behind Mr. Uri. In my vision. Did you have any concern, Mark?
No, not at this time.
Do I have a motion from the board then? Go ahead.
The only thing, bring up the phone is just that there's some kind of buffering.
I'm sorry, he's got to get in front of the microphone, please. And they go to talk to these.
Go ahead.
The only concern I want to reiterate from the meeting before was the proximity to Oberlin Road, and without any kind of barrier, concern would be possibility due to the speed and the amount of traffic on Oberlin Road that you could wind up with a situation where a car could conceivably wind up in one of the retention basins. That's
Retention ponds.
in that retention pond. That was my concern brought up, and I still want to reiterate that.
Correct. As requested, we added a 3-foot mound along Oberlin Road to protect, as requested.
Something to, if somebody would spin out you don't know ice, patch ice, anything could happen.
Correct. So we've added that to the plans.
And it would impede a vehicle from going into the water.
Correct.
Is there anything you could do about the one that's along Sandstone Parkway? It was one of the smaller ones, it was pretty close. Are you able to do anything there to protect a car going in?
We have to be careful there because the county has requirements of a
Okay.
25-foot setback from property lines or right-of-way for access. So we got to be careful adding more mounds. Got to make sure the
Yeah.
county's okay with it.
Then you couldn't do a guardrail or anything, you just gotta keep 25 easement around those, right?
Right.
But you will check to see if you can add?
We can request and see what they, but
Okay.
obviously they're pretty stringent on their requirements of the 25-foot for maintenance. Maybe we ask them for less. We can ask them.
Is that good with you, Dave?
Something,
You're good?
something between the road and the basin. And prevent a vehicle from going in.
You're good with the resolution that they came up with, though?
Of a mound.
Right.
If need be, plant something on top of it. What the solution would be to keep a car from going in there by accident.
Okay. Mr. Lynch?
Yes, Lonnie, there's two items. One, I do want to point out, at the previous meeting, there was discussion and the concern of vehicles entering the ponds because there was a comment made that they were 12 feet deep.
Yes.
Needs to be clear, the water is not 12 feet deep. If you check out those ponds at what is the normal water mark that's going to be there, is the one along Oberlin Road will be 6 feet. The one, Basin B will be 4.8, so roughly 5 feet, as we'll see. So these are not deep ponds where I think there was a concern that a car would go in and we might not find it for 40 years. 6 feet deep, we're going to see the car. As a matter of fact, many of your SUVs and trucks are higher than 7 foot, so anyone that's stuck with an older style building with a 7-foot high garage can't even park their vehicles in the garage today. So I just want that to be clear. You know, if the mound solves it, fine. I don't know that it will. I think that what's more likely is going to be a change in the speed limit along Oberlin Road, and that'll probably come up with the traffic study. So I just want people to understand that just because these ponds are excavated, potentially the one does have a 12-foot depth from the top edge of the excavation, there's not 12 feet of water in there. The only way you could ever get to that 12-foot water depth is there has to be a major failure in the stormwater system. So either you've got a complete collapse of your drainage system, or you got something plugging something up so bad that water actually goes over the spillway and then dumps towards Oberlin Road. I would certainly hope we would see that well before we get any rains coming in that could fill that fast. You know, and that's something I assume you guys will have in the pond maintenance. Is that a combination of the homeowners association responsibility and then also inspection by the county engineer?
Correct. The HOA will maintain the basins.
Okay, and so on their regular inspection, somebody's going to say, holy smoke, something's wrong, this pond's not going down and the sun's out. The other item, I mentioned two items, is I just wanted to reflect in the record that at the last meeting was indicated that as of right now, the traffic study shows that a left-hand turning lane heading north on Oberlin Road doesn't appear to be required based on the traffic intensity generated by this development and the assumption that majority of traffic will go towards State Route 58. And it seemed ODOT was more concerned with State Route 58 based on what was presented at the last meeting. And I did have a discussion with Mr. Evanson after your meeting last month and just let him know that, you know, we're still going to expect left-hand turn lane heading north. But I imagine, you know, it doesn't have to be for this phase approval, but before the final development is done, we would expect that. So it shouldn't inhibit this, other than you guys have to make a change as far as your sign location and entryway. I just want you to be aware of that, so there's not wasting a lot of money, and we're coming back later, and you've got to readjust everything.
So we did get the approved traffic impact study back from ODOT last week. It does not require a turn lane, but I think in conversations with Mr. Evanson, he's willing to put the northbound turn lane into the development at a later date, obviously before complete build, probably with phase 2 of Sandstone Parkway. But we'll make sure that it's designed so that it doesn't impact what's done in phase 1.
Right, yeah, it just looks silly doing something and undoing it. Okay. That's it.
So no left turn with this first phase.
So we just have to remember that when phase 2 comes back for the site review, make
Right.
sure that that gets included. Any other concerns or questions?
The water issue or in general?
In general, if it has to do with this. Give us your name and address.
Absolutely. Jeff Pilar, 7884 Oberlin Road. And he was speaking about those drain tile. If you want to go after the meeting, I can show you where at least 5 of them are draining onto my property where he dug the ditch and exposed them. That's going to be an issue. There's also a water line that runs back there to my well. I can show you where the well is. I'll make sure I don't turn the power on if you guys are going to be digging back there. It's tore up and messed up, but there is a well back there. That's going to need addressed also. That pipe's still running up toward the house. I don't know how your pond is going right through it. That line goes all the way back. You're going to take out 90% of it, but the rest of it's still going to be sticking pointing toward my house, and I don't particularly want to dig up my yard.
Let me ask you, do you have city water now?
Yeah,
I mean, that's not providing
it's rural water. Yeah, I didn't bother. It wasn't on my property. I didn't bother fixing the wires or fixing it up because it's not on my property.
Okay.
No
problem. I appreciate us talking about it.
And I have a question. You've put in a little entrance there to the north of my property. I don't know if it's going to be for engineering trailers or whatnot. They just put in.
What you see there today,
Right.
That's just for clearing. That's a clearing pad. It's going to be removed. Actually, the pond's going to be right.
Well, they've got the pad is actually in front of where the pond is. The reason I ask is because do what you want, but if you're going to put engineering trailers or park anything there, I live on the inside part of that curb. It sounds petty, but again, stop on over after the meeting. You can't see to get out of the driveway. The dirt alone made it more difficult. It's piled up a little bit high. I have 5 children, so I have a lot of very young drivers. I have teenage drivers coming and going all the time. It's hard for an adult. If you stick an engineering trailer there, especially with the summer coming, the motorcycles, they love coming off that off-ramp, or over the overpass. I mean, they think it's fun. Ooh, big curve. So anyway, it's always been very dangerous pulling on my driveway because a lot of people don't even realize this is 55. It's a county road, unmarked county road. And people fly down there. But if you're going to put something there or whatever, I would just ask that you would push it back closer to the back end of it because you literally, even with some of the equipment they parked there when they were working on it, it made it very, very difficult just to pull out of my own driveway. And I'm, like I say, a lot of young adults and a lot of teenagers coming and going. I'm very, very concerned with, I didn't want to come home and be a trailer park right there. You can't see to get out. And unless you ever lived on the inside of a curb, you wouldn't understand. It's rough.
Just the intent of that what you see there today is only when they move actually, if you look on 58 now, I think they have it set up.
I've seen 58. I know they did that work over there, but they just did this between the meetings. The last meeting and this meeting, they dug that out over here and put the pad in.
Well, I'm saying that the equipment that's on 58, that's what it's going to look like on the other side. And it's only going to be there temporarily while they move the trees out of the way. So there will be a period of time where there'll be, like the chipping machine will be there.
Yeah, hopefully they set that back up in maybe the first field behind the house, because that damn thing's so loud you can hear it from my house when it's on 58, and that's just gonna suck. A little common courtesy would be very much appreciated. I know what has to be done. I'm not whining about it. It's just that thing is annoying.
Well, I definitely will commit to, definitely we don't want to, we're not trying to cause you any hassle,
All right.
but we would want to work between certain hours of the day.
Right.
We can talk about that.
It's gonna be noise, I know, the just whining of the chipper's so freaking loud, you can hear it literally from my house when you're running on 58. Oh, this is.
Well, we're certainly gonna, I guess even for our benefit, we want to expedite that as quick as possible.
I get it,
So,
I get it.
I mean, that's the idea, is to get through it as quick as we can and as painless as
My
possible.
biggest concern is there's at least 4 tile, probably 5, that are directly running toward my house. And the reason I haven't dug down in the ditch right now and cemented them over is it's not really my property. I've maintained that property for 20 years. But it's not my property, so I don't want to go sticking my nose where it doesn't belong, but that needs to be addressed. It should already have been addressed, and it hasn't.
If there's tile heading towards your property,
There's-
absolutely.
Or after me, we can go over, I can show you right where they all are. Everywhere there used to be a row of trees in between, you're gonna be amazed how much tile's in that when you start digging it. Everywhere there used to be a row of trees right in between, there is tile running. The manpower to put that in is incredible. It's everywhere, and there's a large one coming across the face of the road that I can point out for you too.
Okay. Well, maybe we can schedule a meeting to come out
Sure
and have a
thing.
conversation, talk about a few things like that. But absolutely, we have no issue.
All right, yeah, I just didn't want a trailer stuck there. Sounds petty, but you'll see if you come over. Oh man, he's right. You can't see to get out of the driveway. That's it, I guess.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns from anyone? Okay. One want to make a motion?
Make that motion.
To accept the site
Accept
plan?
everything, site plan, yep.
Okay. Second?
Second.
I'll second. Roll call vote. Dillon, yes. Conrady?
I'm going to abstain.
Harsar?
Yes.
Saladin?
Yes.
And Sernay?
Abstain.
So it passes 3-0. Correct? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.